Hello, Vanguardians. This is Anthony here with
Ryan
of Epic CFV 365 coming at you with a
Nubatama
deck profile. Don't forget, like, subscribe buttons are down below. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for all of our videos. Be sure to leave a comment with what you think, and check out the links for Facebook, eBay, David Adams, Big N, and our locals Facebook page of Game Time and Clemens. Go ahead.
Alright, so of course our starter is Stealth Rogue of the Wintry Wind, Kamojigusa. When called, if you have GB1 active, you get to retire one of your opponent's, you get to play the effect. Your opponent chooses a card in their bind zone, retires it, then you get a countercharge 1. Other than that, he has After Image, which, for reference throughout this entire video, After Image is if you have 6 or less cards in hand, and your opponent returns a bound card to their hand, all After Image units will return to yours. So that's the starter. The trigger lineup, I run 4 Onibidoshi. When it's called, if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, GB1, draw a card, power up 1 unit by 3,000, return it to the deck and shuffle, and other than that, it has After Image. So I run 4 the stand trigger. I run 4 double rare Noroi. This is Shiranui's a special crit. When you're Vanguard with Shiranui and its card name attacks, push to soul, 5,000 and draw a card. That's it. Then I run 4 vanilla killing and living methods for heals and crits. Then for grade 1s, I run 3 Kararitsugune, which is Shiranui's Stride Fodder. Reveal a grade 3 and search for a Shiranui. If you add it, discard, and it gets +2 to grade when striding. Then I have 3 Jigaragumo. Soul Blast 1 when it's placed on rear guard. Look at the top 3 if you have a Shiranui Vanguard. Call 1 After Image from amongst them to a rear guard circle. And in the end phase, of course, After Image can activate. That's what he does. 4 PGG with Kurenai. And then 4 of a really old school card, Fuki. Counterblast 1 when your opponent has 3 cards or less in their hand. You may pay the cost. For act, if they do have that, and you pay the cost, bind one of the cards face down, and in the end phase, return it. The grade 2 lineup is a bit weird because of a misorder. I only run 1 of the Miyabi. Counterblast 1 when it's boosted. If you have 3 cards or less in hand, bind one of your opponents face down, and 3k. So that's Miyabi. Then I run 3 Nibi Katabiri. This is Shiranui's special Glimmer Clone Breath. Counterblast and Soul Blast. Choose one of your other rear guards, give it After Image, then this and that unit power up by 3k, and After Image. Then I run 3 Kokujo. Every time an opponent's unit is put into the bind zone, +2k. That's from hand or field. And then another Tamahagane. When it's called or placed on Vanguard, find one of your opponent's rear guards face up, of your own choice, not theirs. And then grade 3s. 4 Kuji Kitty Kondo. Limit Break. When you ride on him, your opponent discards a card and binds a card from their field face up, or from their hand face down. Thinking ahead here. Then if you have, I believe, less cards in hand, then +2k to his attack. It's 3 or less for your opponent's hand. And then, of course, the boss card himself for grade 3, Shiranui. His first skill, if you have less cards in your hand when he attacks with GB2, 5,000 and a crit is added until end of battle. Break Stride skill, or Stride bonus, is Counterblast 1 when you stride on top of him. Your opponent has to discard a card and bind a rear guard face up. In the end phase, it's returned to the hand, not the field. Stride setup. I run 4 Zara Marakan. On hit, bind one of your opponent's cards in hand face down. And then, if you have an After Image card, they choose a card from their bind zone and retire it. In the end phase, the card bound is returned, unless retired. I run 2 Atagalord. Counterblast 1 when he attacks. Bind an opponent's hand card face down. Then, if they have 3 cards or less, in their hand, an extra critical is added until the end of battle. One of Hayakuji Raka. Counterblast 1, only if you have a Shura Stealth Dragon, then you may pay the cost. If you do, bind one of your opponent's cards from hand face down. Then, if they have 3 cards or less in their hand, bind their entire rear guard face up. And I believe in the end phase, this is the only part I can't remember. Okay, so yeah, it'll always go back to their hand. And finally, Tsukumoto-kan, the G-Rare. Counterblast 2 when it's placed on the Vanguard circle, GB2. Your opponent chooses 4 cards from their hand that they want to keep, and they keep them. The rest are bound face down. So basically, with GB2, break stride on top of Shiranui. Activate both their skills in the order of him, then Shiranui, from 4 to 3.
So, anything you want to change about the deck?
For the Stride deck, I'd honestly want to test out 4 Ataga Lord or 2 Ataga Lord, 2 Tsukumoto-kan, and 2 Hayakujikara. And for the main deck, I would definitely mess around, especially with like the grade 2s, with Kokujo's added, possibly going up to 4 Nibikatabiri, but I would at least like to have 3 Miyabi for future references.
Alrighty, that was what was that? Nubatama deck profile. Don't forget, like, subscribe buttons are down below. Leave a comment with what you think. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for all of our Vanguard videos. Check the links down below for Facebook, eBay, Dave and Adam's Big N, and Game Time Facebook page. This is Anthony and
Brian
from Epic CFV 365 saying, if you're going to card fight, make it epic.